My friends, what if I told you that the moment your life feels like it is quietly collapsing, when nothing is going according to your plans, when every path you trusted suddenly disappears into uncertainty, that this is not the end? What if this moment, this confusion, this heaviness, this silence, is actually the beginning of something sacred? Because before every miracle, there is always a test. Not a test you prepare for, not a test you even recognize, but a test that arrives silently and changes everything. And right now, you may be living inside that test. Before we go deeper, if something inside you is already resonating with these words, if you feel a quiet truth awakening within you, then subscribe to Divya Antar. This is not just a place for content. It is a space for transformation. And in the comments write, I am ready for my miracle. Let that be your declaration. A signal sent into the unseen. And if this message touches your soul, share it. Because someone somewhere is waiting for these exact words. There comes a moment in life when everything you once relied on begins to fade. The certainty you held on to slips away. The people you trusted begin to feel distant. The goals you chased no longer feel meaningful. You wake up one day, and something feels different. Not outside, but inside you. And you cannot explain it. It feels like you are losing yourself. But what if you are actually finding yourself? According to the wisdom of, the soul does not awaken in comfort. It awakens in disruption. Because comfort keeps you asleep. But disruption forces you to see, to question, to reflect, to go deeper than you ever have before. The universe has a way of shaking your life. Not to break you, but to wake you up. It removes the illusions you built your identity on. It challenges the beliefs you never questioned. It takes away the things you thought you needed, so you can discover what you truly are. But in that process, it does not feel like awakening. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like emptiness. And that is why most people resist it. Imagine standing in a dense fog. You cannot see the path ahead. You cannot see where you came from. You feel lost. And your first instinct is fear. But what if the fog is not there to hide your path? What if it is there to slow you down? So you stop rushing blindly and start moving consciously? This is what the test feels like. A slowing down, a stillness, a pause you did not choose. And in that pause, everything you avoided begins to surface. Your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, all rising to the surface. Not to overwhelm you, but to be released. Because you cannot step into a new life while carrying the weight of the old one. Something must be left behind. And that something is often a version of yourself. This is why it hurts. Because you are not just losing things. You are losing identities. The person you thought you were. The roles you played. The beliefs you held onto. They begin to dissolve. And without them, you feel empty. But that emptiness is sacred. Because it is not emptiness. It is space. Space for something new to enter. Often emphasized. That divine timing is perfect. Not because it matches your expectations, but because it aligns with your readiness. And readiness is not something you think your way into. It is something you become through experience. Every challenge you face is shaping that readiness. Every delay is deepening your patience. Every moment of uncertainty is strengthening your faith. But the mind does not see it that way. The mind wants immediate results. It wants clear answers. It wants control. And when it does not get those things, it creates doubt. Maybe nothing is happening. Maybe I am going in the wrong direction. Maybe I am not meant for something greater. These thoughts are part of the test. Not to stop you, but to see if you will stop yourself. Because the greatest obstacle is not the situation you are in. It is the meaning you give to it. If you see it as failure, you will feel defeated. If you see it as punishment, you will feel resentful. But if you see it as preparation, everything changes. Suddenly, the waiting has purpose. The struggle has meaning. The pain has direction. You begin to understand that something unseen is working behind the scenes. Think about the process of transformation. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly overnight. It goes through a phase where it dissolves completely. Inside the cocoon, it is no longer what it was, but not yet what it will become. That phase is called the unknown. And that is exactly where you are. You are no longer who you used to be, but you are not yet who you are becoming. And that space feels uncomfortable because the mind cannot define it. It cannot label it. It cannot control it. But the soul understands it perfectly because the soul knows that transformation requires surrender. You cannot force your way into a miracle. You cannot rush divine timing. You cannot control the unfolding. All you can do is trust. Trust that what is leaving needed to leave. Trust that what is coming will come at the right time. Trust that what you are becoming is worth the process. There will be moments when you feel like giving up. Moments when the silence feels too heavy. Moments when the waiting feels endless. In those moments, remember this. You are closer than you think. Because the final test always feels the hardest. It is the moment just before the breakthrough, where everything feels uncertain again, where you are asked one final question. Do you still trust? Not when things are easy, not when everything is clear, but now, in the darkness. Because faith is not proven in light, it is proven in darkness. And those who continue walking, even when they cannot see the path, are the ones who step into the miracle. Taught that true success is not measured by external achievements, but by inner realization, by how deeply you understand yourself, by how strongly you remain centered, even when everything around you is uncertain. And this phase is building that strength within you. You are becoming someone who does not depend on circumstances for peace, someone who does not need validation to feel worthy, someone who is rooted, regardless of what happens outside. And that kind of person is ready for miracles, because miracles do not happen to those who chase them desperately. They happen to those who are aligned with them. Alignment is not about doing more. It is about becoming more aware, more present, more conscious, more connected to your inner truth. And that is exactly what this test is doing. It is pulling you inward, away from noise, away from distraction, away from illusion, so you can hear the quiet voice within you, the voice that has always known who you are. There is a reason you feel different now, a reason you no longer fit into the same spaces, a reason you question things you once accepted without thought. It is not confusion. It is awakening. And awakening always comes with discomfort, because it requires you to see what you once ignored, to feel what you once avoided, to accept what you once denied. But through that process, you become free. Free from expectations. Free from fear. Free from the need to control everything. And in that freedom, you find peace. A peace that does not depend on outcomes. A peace that does not disappear in chaos. A peace that stays, no matter what. And from that peace, everything begins to change. Your energy shifts. Your perspective expands. Your life starts aligning in ways you cannot explain. Opportunities appear. Connections happen. Paths open. Not because you forced them, but because you became ready for them. That is the miracle. Not something external, but something internal. A shift in who you are. A transformation in how you see. A deeper understanding of life itself. And once that shift happens, everything else follows. So if you are in a phase where nothing makes sense, do not be afraid. If you are in a phase where everything feels uncertain, do not panic. If you are in a phase where you feel lost, do not assume you are, because sometimes the path disappears. So you can stop following and start creating. You are not being tested to break you. You are being tested to reveal you, to show you your strength, your depth, your true nature. And once you see that, nothing can shake you. So stay with the process. Stay with yourself. Stay with the journey. Because something is unfolding. Something you cannot yet see, but you can feel. And when it arrives, you will understand everything. You will understand why things had to fall apart, why you had to wait, why you had to go through this. Because it was never random. It was always leading you here. If this message found you at the right moment, take it as a sign. You're exactly where you need to be. And if you feel this truth within you, subscribe to Divya Antar and continue this journey with us. And in the comments, write, "My miracle is already on its way." Let that belief settle into your being. Let it grow quietly. Let it become your reality. Because the moment you truly believe, the universe begins to respond. And your miracle begins to find you.